2020, the new dialing code to be operated through the existing National Suicide Prevention Lifeline 988 was introduced as a first step towards a transformed crisis care system in America.
So Everyday Kentucky's Martina Barksdale sat down with Great Crossing Funeral and Cremation to discuss how suicide impacts everyone and some steps for prevention.
September is National Suicide Awareness Month, and though this is a difficult topic, the subject is vital to receive the support you need regardless of your situation when losing your loved ones. I'm joined by the owner of Great Crossing Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Tom Morton. Thanks for being with me, Tom.
Thanks, Martina, for having us on set.
Yeah, so I understand, talking about loss is very tough on everyone, especially when it comes to suicide. So tell me a little bit more about Great Crossing Funeral and Cremation Services in regards to this.
Yeah, so, you know, as an owner of the funeral home, we've experienced roughly 10% of our deaths last year were a result of suicide. So when I sit down and I make arrangements with families, I have to be cognizant of that, and we want to walk alongside families regardless of how the person dies, but in particularly with suicide, it's such a fragile time. The family is experiencing shame, they're experiencing guilt. I wanted to share with you the story of one family that we had the opportunity to serve this last year. Her name's Carol Nelson. She lives out of state and wasn't able to be with us today, but she has something that she wanted to share to our general public.
Yeah, and I'm going to read what Carol has, her thoughts, though she couldn't be with us today. But this is from Carol Nelson. My son, Clint, age 43, decided to end his life in March of this year in a moment of desperation. Like most, he saw no option other than suicide to end his pain. My family and I will never get over this, but we will get through it. I promise you, it's a journey no one wants to take. My goal is now to make sure Clint is remembered for his life and not how he died. If you think someone might be considering suicide, ask them. Do not be afraid to say the word suicide. It's time to end the stigma of talking about it. I choose to remember my son by living in the sunshine of his life instead of the shadow of his death. Be the light for someone. And you can go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They offer training to help recognize warning signs. You just go to afsp.org. And honestly, those were such beautiful and kind words. And I love that she didn't shy away from the topic, because so many people, whether it's suicidal ideation or actually committing suicide, it affects the family, the friends, and everyone, right?
Yeah, that's right. When I was talking to Carol, she brought this to my attention. The Center of Disease Control in 2020 gave this statistic out. There were 45,979 people that chose to commit suicide in this country in 2020. To put that in perspective, you could fill Rupp Arena twice. From the basketball court all the way up to the rafters, you could fill each seat twice with the amount of deaths that resulted in suicide in this country. And so I stand with Carol. Unfortunately, we had to provide services for her son, but more importantly, I want to share her story, because there's a neighbor, there's a friend on your street that might have the same story as Carol. And what Carol would want you to know is that if you speak up, if you share your story, or if you talk to somebody in your family that is struggling with suicide, there's help out there. There's a new national number that came out in July of this year called 988. You can call that at any time. It's basically the 911 for suicide alert. And so there's no shame, there's no guilt. We ask anybody, if you need help, reach out to them. And if you're a family in our community that has experienced suicide or a death in general, we're here for you. We want you to know that Great Crossing Funeral and Cremation will walk alongside you in your time of need.
I love that you're there for loss and you're here to also try to help prevent loss. Now, if people want more information or to contact you, where do they go?
Simply give me a call, 859-233-1400, or you can reach us on our website at greatcrossingfuneral.com.
All right, thank you so much, Tom. Well, just know that you are not alone. If you or anyone needs help when it comes to suicide prevention, just go to afsp.org or call the number 988. You could also visit greatcrossingfuneral.com for more information. This has been Martina with Everyday Kentucky. Stick with us. We'll be back with more right after this.